Oh, knight f6 e4.
It's back to a 5-game lead.
And this is what all the top players say about Magnus Carlsen.
You're about to witness something understated chess brilliant. With the white pieces here, we've got Mulberry Craftsman, world #1, no doubt due to his latest subscription to gmhands.com, and that's who we've got playing with black. Undaunted, unfazed, it's Mr. Nans He-Man. Does he have the power to dethrone Magnus? Well, this is the Speed Chess Championship, played in September in Paris. They're over the board opposite, but on computers. No cheating devices in sight. Clean, hard-fought chess. Let's go. Magnus opens with e4, best by test, and Hans hits him with the aggressive Sicilian. Magnus up in the match by this point, so Hans trying to fight back. We get knight f3, d6 played, clock time's on the left, and Magnus flicks in that check, whooshing out the bishop. The knight blocks the way here, and I love this already from Magnus. Sometimes you've just got to give the little guy some encouragement. Look at him go there, really starts tickling it, and bang, watch how this one now flies down. Knight f6 hits the pawn in the center, and it's defended. Epic commentary as ever here on Epic Cheese. Now Hans prepares to tuck that bishop into bed, and look at Magnus's pawn there. a5, he's tickled it, and he's tickled it good. We get bishop g7 hitting the chocolate slide, a6. This is what can happen when you really give the little guy some encouragement. Castle's played now by both players. No king safety fist bump, exploded out. No love lost between these guys. Now we get queen c7. Hans has let Magnus gain all that space, and Magnus carries on calmly with rook e1. Activating that cannon in the center. We now see takes on a6 rather, allowing Magnus to recapture. An exchange of bishops, and look at this. Magnus glides the rook down the board with a whoosh and sits on that a7 pawn like a sumo wrestler against a far weaker opponent. Very ugly structure already, but Hans fights back with the explosive c4. Clears a square for the knight to gallop forth. Magnus fights back with d4 for the score, taking control of the square, and what do? 9 times out of 10 you play this move, especially when you're in Paris. Don't worry if you've had a drink, we see it too. En croissant is played on the board. Hans whispers it in his best French accent, very common at the top level. Do it, especially if you play in a FIDE rated tournament. It's good etiquette. Now we see pawn recaptures here, and queen b7. Lovely triple threat. The rook's got to give ground, and you're pressuring the b pawn, the central pawns. Magnus now, after rook fc8 from Hans, excellent setup of the Eiffel Tower, real respect for his surroundings, plays pawn h3, taking control of g4 and i4 of course, gives the king some Lufthansa, and now I absolutely love this. A seahorse is born, and Hans Niemann sucks in his cheeks, kind of like a sea creature, as he boldly gallops forth with that seahorse. Now queen e2, and Magnus's intentions are clear. He's overprotecting e4. He wants d4 to set up that massive phalanx of pawns in the centre here, and Niemann says, okay, be my guest, plays rook a b8 here. Do you want to hang yourself, Magnus Carlsen? Yes, he does. He plays pawn d4, given the mistake, because it really is a mistake. There's a tactic here for black. Do feel free to pause if I give you 852 million seconds and try and find the way to punish this move. So very well done if you found the move of knight takes on e4. Given the double exclam there, absolutely phenomenal, and just listen to the reaction of Niemann's life coach.
Pooh, what a move. What a move.
Big Bad Vlad absolutely loves it. Now Magnus now takes on e4 here, and this is the point. After knight recaptures, if you take with the queen, not played, you exchange the ladies. Even Magnus can't fight against this one. Now you take with check. king goes, rook b7 to hold the structure, and not only is black a pawn ahead, but it's a great position. Dominant rooks, dominant minor piece, better pawn structure, ouch. So Magnus, shaking his head, blundered, doesn't touch the knight here. He develops this bishop to f4, but watch this. So the knight's under fire. If you go d5 to protect it, you drop a rook back. If you go f5, well, it kind of makes you wince, right? It's like sitting naked on a leather chair on a hot day. Just got a bit weird, but it's not ideal. So what do we see instead? Knight f6, backpedaling, but now it allows Magnus, who has a long think here, to crash through on e7. Uses about 30-40 seconds on that one, because he's got to consider this. Queen takes, played. Rook recaptures, and he's no time to get out the forking way. Now Niemann's knight centralizes, hits those two. What to do here? How do you fight against it? Well, Magnus comes up with the astonishingly superb exchange sacrifice. Bishop takes on d6. This is why he's world number 1. He doesn't go down without a fight. This, after takes, bishop recaptures, is tastier than former world champion Vishwanathan Anand's favourite pre-game snack.
Mushrooms.
Now what to do here? The absolute best line is check, the king steps, and now you go rook b7. Hitting the bishop, also holding this pawn here, but you have to consider that white can then do this, and something like this. The b pawn survives, massive dark squared grip. What's going on here? Very difficult to assess, but black is a bit better. You know, you get to this pawn when you save the b pawn. Okay, different game, but we don't see that played. Niemann instead goes bishop f8, Magnus exchanges, king takes back. We see an exchange of prisoners here, but it isn't the best way to go. Rook a7 actually best, because if exchanging, the end game is technically won. You'll win this soon, and then white's groveling. And if you don't exchange, well, then the rook slams down here with check. We're going to see the significance, because here check from c1 was played. The king steps, the rook takes on b2. I mean, what could be more natural? But there's a problem. I mean, this is just art from Magnus Carlsen, how he's drummed up this defensive play. He centralizes the knight, hits f7 here, and this is the big problem. If this pawn was some way saved, which it can't be, well, knight d3 is also a threat. You go to fork Vegas, you win a rook. But here's the really subtle, beautiful point that Niemann's overlooked. If you capture, most natural move, of course, because you win a pawn and defend, still there's knight d3. Defensive octopus, fork town, population hands, ouch. And now this is playable, yes, but it's just a drawn position. So Hans does this one instead. We see the rook crash through with check. Now this king sidesteps, and this king steps into g3. Magnus 2 pawns to the good now. It's a level position, but he's fought right back. Incredible stuff. This rook checks, the king gives ground, rook d2 hits the central pawn, and so Magnus covers, reactivating that rook. What an active iron cross of a piece. Incredible. Now we see g5, and Magnus has got a choice. Do you go here? Do you go here? He decides for this one, gives up d for g with check. Don't step to the corner, by the way. This would be a rude awakening. Ouch, that's a checkmate. So we come back here. King f8, of course, played. Now we get another check. King e8 on the board. Knight g4, and this is utterly incredible. Magnus has taken this blunder into an exchange sacrifice, into then a level position through some trickery with the knight and rook. Now we reach here, it should be level, but he's got tricks. A knight jumping, it's low on time. He's in his opponent's head. He's threatening knight f6 check, and to win this pawn, you should do something like rook c7, but rook d6 was played.
Oh, knight f64.
You know, keeping an eye on these kind of knight jumps and that sort of thing, you know, whatever might come. Then you just wander up with the king and everything. But no, something's been overlooked. Check is played. Now the king comes to e7 and knight e4. When you put the rook on d6, you simply put them in the line of this pesky knight. That is absolute pain. You're losing a rook, with it the game. Hans resigns because say he steps up or something, you know, to counter attack, will pick your way to win. You know, you could do this and then you're simply 2 pawns down here, right, in an endgame. It's just hopelessly lost. Doesn't matter what you do, you can't get away from this. Go for this and this and this. Again, 2 pawns to the good is too much.
It's back to a 5-game lead.
And this is what all the top players say about Magnus Carlsen. He is not invincible. He does blunder, but actually converting those positions into a win is immensely difficult. And we just saw it on full display there.
Absolutely savage from the world #1. He's so hard to beat. Unbelievable chess. And if you want to see another incredible game between these two guys from the same match, then check out the video on screen. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon. Cheers.